Third, the companies have a duty to earn the people's trust and empower users to make informed decisions labeling content that has been altered or AI generated, rooting out bias and discrimination, strengthening privacy protections, and shielding children from harm. And finally, companies have agreed to find ways for AI to help meet society's greatest challenges, from cancer to climate change, and invest in education and new jobs.
Direct deposits will be made tomorrow, and actually the Social Security Administration has confirmed that Americans will receive their stimulus checks. It's folks because of Joe Biden. Retirees nationwide are eagerly awaiting their Social Security payments, with the first batch set to be distributed this Wednesday. The initial payment can reach a maximum of $4,500 as outlined by the Social Security Administration. And the first payment is scheduled for July 12th and will be sent to recipients born between the 1st and 10th of the month. The maximum monthly benefit amount varies depending on the age at which an individual is retired. For example, those who are retired at age 62 can receive monthly installments of up to $2,500. Individuals who retire at 67 are eligible for a maximum benefit of $3,600, and retirees who delay retirement until the age of 70 can receive the highest possible payment of up to $4,500. Social Security payments receive an annual adjustment based on the Consumer Price Index, ensuring they keep up with inflation. The future sustainability of the program has been a topic of discussion for Congress, and experts even warned that without proper funding, Social Security will become insolvent by 2033, which is in another 10 years. That's when the trust is projected to run out of money. But if Congress fails to resolve this, recipients may experience reduced payments in the future. House Republicans have suggested that raising the full retirement age to 69 by 2033, despite the current retirement age in the United States being 67. It means those planning to retire as soon as possible can do so at age 62 to begin receiving Social Security benefits. Alternatively, individuals can wait until 70 years old to receive the maximum monthly benefit. Older adults just worry that the payments that are currently receiving will be cut by a looming shortfall in the federal program. It's important to understand that old age survivors and disability insurance affects not just seniors but also workers who develop disabilities in families in which a spouse or parent dies. And because Social Security is funded through a payroll tax era, employers and employees each pay 6% of wages up to the taxable maximum of $160,000. The trustees of the Social Security and Medicare reported that more than money, according to what White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said. Now, the American Families Plan is expected to focus on policies including things like paid family leave, childcare, as well as free community college. In addition, everybody, the Biden administration is reportedly teeing up under the massive economic spending package that will help millions of families across the country. Now, Joe Biden did already release the American Jobs Plan, which is a $2.25 trillion tax and spending initiative that would make investments in the nation's roads and bridges, as well as water systems, green energy, hospitals, and elder care. Also, folks, the newest measure is expected to call for roughly $1 trillion in new spending and about $500 billion in tax credits. Now, this new bill would also include an extension of the expanded child tax credit all the way to 2025, and this will reject a measure from some Democratic lawmakers to make the expansion permanent. Now, the $1.9 trillion relief package passed in March authorized $3,000 for every dependent ages 6 to 17 and $3,600 for every dependent under age 6. But there are multiple issues with this, everybody. But folks, there's a lot of problems with this proposal. Republicans have already criticized the size and scope of Joe Biden's $2.25 trillion proposal. Multiple Republican senators slammed Biden's push to raise the corporate tax rate from 28% to 28% from 21%, and they called it a non-negotiable red line. But guys, the good news is this. Joe Biden said Monday that he is prepared to compromise ahead of a White House meeting with a bipartisan group of lawmakers. If I can help the country, and if they want to play politics and play party politics, shame on them. Manchin added it was so wrong of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky to issue warnings to sink the bipartisan legislation, which would only boost the federal investment on emerging technologies like computer chips. The Kentucky Republican reiterated the ultimatum and tied to recent Democratic efforts to pass Biden's economic agenda. And during a speech on the Senate floor, McConnell said, "Party line scheming is going to crowd that out. Our side cannot agree to frantically steamroll through bipartisan talks in order to meet a timeline, so our Democratic colleagues can clear the decks to ram through a party line tax hike." McConnell warned and wanted to sink the bill as Democrats make progress towards clinching a deal with Manchin on a climate and tax economic spending package. But a spokesperson for Chuck Schumer said last week that Democrats plan to convene an all-senators classified briefing for the bipartisan bill. Republicans and Democratic negotiators have spent months negotiating on the bill to shore up the domestic semiconductor industry among other sectors in an effort to reduce the U.S. dependence on imports of important products. Experts say Biden's economic package could include around $1 trillion in new spending. These ideas would require a range of tax increases to fund them. These taxes would mostly hit businesses, owners, and corporations, at least according to the current proposals that lawmakers are considering. And Sam Runyon, Manchin's communications director, told Yahoo News in a statement that Senator Manchin insists that any final deal addresses inflation.
Pinch of inflation, and all Americans are feeling this hurt. And just recently, I've heard stories about folks that are actually
on the phone, and as I watched him dial the phone, my phone rang. He was calling me to tell me what had just happened, and that's what he should do. And then a year later, I was with him on 9/11. Not with him, I was near him on 9/11, when he got a phone call. His oldest son was just 6.
So yes, folks, I believe it's time for President Biden to do more for the American people, send out stimulus payments for the people, and let's see what he can do for the American people in stimulus check. We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SDI. Continue watching this video because you guys don't want to miss out on this. We got a ton of news on what to do for this. Serious debates over Social Security are happening, and the lawmakers are unexpectedly proposing new Social Security reform, like raising the retirement age or changing the way the annual Social Security COLA is calculated. Now, those changes may not be included in the debt ceiling negotiations, but it's possible, because efforts to create commissions to examine the programs may move forward as part of a deal, which has set off a vigorous debate. And that would include Social Security pension disability, Medicare Part A, highway trust funds, and things like that. Social Security's trust funds are projected to pay full benefits until 2035, at which point just 80% of the monthly checks will be payable. Because Medicare's Part A trust fund will cover hospital care, it's projected to pay benefits fully until 2028, at which point 90% of benefits will be payable. Because another bill, the Bipartisan Social Security Commission Act, would seek to form a temporary commission to address solvency of the program's funds under the expedited procedures. Whether such committees are going to be necessary to shore up the trust funds is a topic of fierce debate among the experts. But one thing I know for sure is that Joe Biden can do something for the people. He can't get the stimulus out there if he wants to.
Jobs, they're real jobs, man. It means we've created more jobs in 2 years than any presidential term in American history. Not just created, but you created it. You did it. The unemployment rate of 3.4%, as I said, is a 50-year low. 800,000 manufacturing jobs.
She now qualifies for a $1,400 check.